Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Laura. Today I'm going to do yet another manga haul. My sister and I found out about some sale that happens locally. We were happy. We both came away with over 30 volumes of manga each. So there's quite a lot to show you. I'm going to just get into it. Just so you know though, this was sort of an unplanned binge of manga. I do have a budget, and so this sort of spoils my budget for next month, so I won't have a haul for next month. So if you're actually joining me to see hauls, just be warned, there isn't going to be a haul in April unless something happens again. So I'm just going to get into it. I'll show you what I bought. A lot of these titles are older or out of print, and some of them I'm sure you haven't seen before, so I think it's kind of an exciting haul. At least it was for me, and we both had a lot of fun buying it, so I hope you'll have fun looking at it. So the first title I bought is Volume 2 Part 2 and Volume 4 Part 2 of Lady Snowblood by Kazuo Koike and Kazuo Kamimura. I don't have any of this to start with, but they're in really good condition. I got them for a really good price, and it's a title that I've been wanting to buy, and I had wanted to buy it, and then I was really disappointed when I stopped seeing it in comic book stores, and I was just like, oh no, now I have to buy these in random places. So I'm going to start looking in random places for this, and you know, my goal was to fill holes. Unfortunately, some of the titles that I've purchased have created holes, but that's just the nature of comic book collecting or manga collecting. So yeah, I'm looking forward to reading this when I do actually, you know, fill some of the gap in it. It looks quite good. The next title that I bought is Benkei in New York, story by Jinpachi Mori, art by Jiro Taniguchi. Jiro Taniguchi is an artist that I've been really wanting to get into lately, and I'm just sort of drooling over his work, and I was really excited to see this. This is published by Viz in their pulp imprint, and I'm not sure if there's another volume. Some of these older titles by Viz didn't actually get volume numbers for some reason, so I'm going to have to investigate to see if there's more of this, but I did flip through this and it looks quite good, and I'm looking forward to reading it, and I'm glad to have found it. So this is One Pound Gospel, story and art by Rumiko Takahashi. I don't think that this is the whole thing. This is by Viz again, and it's a flipped version of the comic. I think there must be about 4, but as I had said before, that Viz really kind of neglected to put volume numbers on it, so I don't even know what part of the story this is. Again, this is creating a gap rather than filling a hole, but another title that I had always wanted to buy, and now I had an opportunity to at least start. So yeah, glad to have it. Unfortunately, I don't think it's complete. I bought Gone Wild by Masashi Tanaka. I don't know what volume this is. Again, another publisher. This is Paradox Press, and they neglected to put the volume on. I actually have Gone in the mail. That's a spoiler, I guess, for my next haul. I do have the complete, at least English, series of Gone, and I'm looking forward to actually finally like reading all of it. It's essentially a silent comic or a wordless comic. It doesn't have a lot of text. There's mostly just sound effects, and it's about this little dinosaur here, and he kind of just lives in the wild and does things. Usually he's either making animals angry or helping other animals, so it's just kind of cute and fun. And I actually bought it, you know, I have it on the way, but I bought it because it was Paradox Press, and this is the first time I've had anything by that press, and I kind of like to have a variety of things in my collection, so I thought it'd be kind of a fun thing to have. As I said before, I've been really wanting to get into Jiro Taniguchi's art, and this is Summon of the Gods Volume 2, script by Yumi Makura Baku. And it is just Volume 2, I didn't buy any more. It's something that I've been looking at, sort of locating, so I figure, you know, if I can get it super cheap, I'm going to buy the little one-off volumes, and I'll fill it in as I can. So yeah, I'm looking forward to reading this when it sort of becomes a little bit more complete. I bought 2 volumes of Bakune Young. This one is still in plastic, as you can see. Story and art by Toyou Kazoo Matsunaga, Volume 1, Volume 3. This is again another pulp comic, and there may be 4 or 5 volumes of this, I'm not entirely sure. A lot of these are just sort of, oh look, it's pulp, I'm going to buy it. So yeah, I'm going to have to fill again another gap in my collection, and I don't know what this is about at all. I didn't even bother looking at the back, I just picked it up because, you know, cheap comics that are out of print. And that makes me happy. So this one's particularly exciting for me because it completes a series that I've actually been working on for about a decade. I had volume 2 and 4, and now I have volume 1 of Marionette Generation, volume 5, it's out of order, and volume 3, and this is by Haruhiko Mikimoto. And this was a series that was quite popular when I got into anime. I probably haven't heard about it in probably 10 years. But it was really popular at the time, and I'm looking forward to finally seeing what the hype was about, even though, yeah, it's not popular anymore. It's complete in my collection, and, you know, that's pretty exciting for me. I bought Ghost in the Shell Man-Machine Interface, so I think this is the sequel to Ghost in the Shell, or the second part, by Shiro Masamune, and it's still in plastic. I did read Ghost in the Shell quite a long time ago. I don't have any opinions on it. It's been a long time, and something I've been hoping to read again. Another title is complete. I have a volume 1 and volume 3 of Pita-ten, the official fan book by Koge Dombo. I do have the complete series as one of the first titles that I started buying when I started reading manga, and I did have volume 2 fan book. I was unaware of the volume 3 fan book, so but it's not really a fan book. Like, you know, normally a fan book would be like about character profiles and stuff, and this is actually still just more comic. So I guess I probably should reread this at some point. I bought Voyeur, Story and Art by Hideo Yamamoto. This, I believe, is volume 1 or possibly volume 2. I think there's at least 2 volumes of this. And again, it's a pulp imprint by Viz. Again, I don't know anything about it. It's probably good. Another pulp title, Strain by Bronson and Ryoichi Ikegami. Another pulp graphic. Bronson is the author of Fist of the North Star, which is the best. And I don't know anything about this title. It says volume 1. I think there's about 5 volumes in the series. I will have to look out for them in future shopping trips. This is a title I've always kind of wanted to read. I've been kind of interested in it, but I didn't really want to pay full price for. And it was Not Simple by Natsume Ono. So I'm looking forward to reading this. Again, I don't know anything about it. The art is definitely different than you would see in most standard popular manga series anyway. And yeah, I'm looking forward to finally reading this one. This title I had mentioned in my Manga Talk video that I had posted a few weeks ago, and I had mentioned that it was sort of like an out-of-print title. I have volumes 1, 2, and 4 already, and I found volume 5 and volume 6 of Wild 7 by Mekia Mochizuki. I really don't know what this is about. There are motorcycles on the covers of everything, so I'm assuming they're some sort of a motorcycle, possibly armed force of some sort. I'm not entirely sure what it's about. I would like to read it when I can finally complete it, and since I know that I can find these at sort of random stores or random sales, there is hope. This title fills a hole. It's volume 8 of Miracle Girls by Nami Akimoto by Tokyo Pop. I have volumes 1 through 7 and 9. I don't know if it's a complete series. I've never actually tried reading it, and the last time I actually went to a convention I was able to pick a few volumes up, so now at least it's a nice full run, and I might give it a shot. I don't know anything about it, but, you know, it's nice having things in a row. I believe that these titles all fill a hole and actually complete a series, I hope. I don't know how many are in the series exactly, but I have volume 10, volume 11, volume 12, volume 13, volume 14, 15, 16, still in plastic, 17, and 18 of Dr. Slump by Akira Toriyama. It says vinyl volume, so I guess it is complete. I really, really love Dr. Slump. The humor in it is, like, it's quite over the top. It's probably not, it doesn't pace the same way that, you know, Dragon Ball does, but it's got really great characters, and I love Aurelie-chan, so, yeah, I love Dr. Slump. I'm so happy to have it. I was actually planning on picking this up next month. Now, of course, I'm not shopping next month, but I'm, you know, got it on the cheap. They're all brand new copies. Some of them have a little bit more sun exposure than others, but they're all still in really good condition, so I'm super duper happy to have this complete. Another title that I've been trying to complete, I was buying it sort of slowly behind the release date, and I don't think it was very popular, so the releases were getting less and less, and people were just snapping up those couple of volumes, and so they're harder to find, and the few volumes that are there are just way overpriced. They are not worth what people are charging for them, so I was able to almost complete. I just need one more volume of Haruka Beyond the Streams of Time by Toko Mizuno. So I have volume 11, volume 12, volume 13, and volume 17. And I think I only have volume 10 left to buy, so I think this really kind of cuts down on that series. Yeah. I'm glad to almost have this done. I personally didn't really like the series, but I like to have complete series in my collection. I don't like to have sort of like random volumes, at least, you know, that they would all be in a row. So slowly work on things, buy them when they're super duper cheap. That's the rule. Here's a title that I hadn't heard of before. This is King of Wolves, art or story by Bronson. I'm assuming it doesn't say right on the cover, and art by Kentaro Miura. This sort of looks like a battle series set in the time of Genghis Khan, so in like Mongolia, and it's published by Dark Horse. I've never seen it before. I've never seen it at comic book stores before. I tend to buy anything that says Bronson on it. You know, that's a insta-buy word for me, so I'm happy to have it. We'll definitely be reading it in sometime in the near future. Here's more Bronson goodness. Night of the Jackal, Fist of the North Star. Story by Bronson, art by Tetsuo Hara. Tetsuo Hara, so great. Kind of hard-boiled, really appealing. Yes, delightful. This is a Viz graphic novel. Again, not a volume, or there's no volume number on the book, but I have some released by Raijin of Fist of the North Star, so I know that there's more than just this little book. And I also have the anime on DVD, and it is quite epic. I kind of love Fist of the North Star, so yeah. I hadn't seen this edition before, so I'm happy to put it into my collection. Another title I had never seen before, and you can see it's got, you know, really evident burn-in. Look at that sun exposure, it's really awful. There's an image of the girl and a straw on her nose. That totally appeals to me. It's called Heartbroken Angels by Masahiko Kikuni, and it's another pulp title, but it's hardcover, and it's a volume 2, I believe, and it looks like it's mostly Yonkoma, but I'm not going to show it to you because some of them, the panels tend to be a little bit more adult, so I'm kind of looking forward to it. I don't know what this is about at all, except for it's going to be gags, of course, and probably inappropriate. I just about bought this series about, I don't know, a month ago when I saw it on eBay, and then I found it for super duper cheap at the sale, except for volume 1, so now I have to look for volume 1, and I hate missing volume 1 because you can't start the series until you have the volume 1. But anyway, that's Harlem Beat by Yuriko Nishiyama. It's a basketball series, I'm assuming by the name and the fact that she's holding a basketball. So I have volume 2, volume 3, volume 4, volume 5, volume 6, volume 7, volume 8, and volume 9. This was printed by Tokyo Pop, and I do believe that they released a non-flipped edition later on. This one's from 2002, so I might be able to, you know, finish up the series using those newer editions, but I don't know, there's something about older volumes of manga that I kind of love, and I was wanting to read this one anyway because I actually really like sports manga. I know it's not like the most popular thing, but I just really like the formula of sports manga, and I wish there was a little bit more of it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to reading this, or, you know, at least buying volume 1 and then reading it. And then this title is quite nostalgic, and actually my sister ended up buying it, and then we realized that I was the person who had the other volume of it, so she gave it to me, but then I ended up buying something that she had other copies of, or she had more of that author, so I ended up swapping, and so that is The Return of Lum, Urusei Yatsura, Feudal Fur, by Rumiko Takahashi. It's so nostalgic. It's so like, this is what was popular when I got into anime, and you know, I have it on VHS and I have another volume of it, and it just sort of like makes me a little bit happy to see these older titles even though no one talks about them. That makes me a little bit sad. This one's quite fun. And I have a second volume, The Return of Lump Urusei Yatsura, Sweet Revenge. So again, as I had said, Viz didn't put volume numbers on things, so I really don't know how long this Lum series is, and I have 3 volumes of it now, so, you know, if it's done, that's awesome, but I doubt it because the anime was quite long. I think we had like, I don't know, 15 VHS tapes of it, so, or still have. They're in the basement. Maybe I'll show them to you one day. Yeah, but it's just really nostalgic and fun. So yeah, I'm looking forward to, maybe I'm going to see how much more there is to collect, because I think I'd rather collect all of it and then read it. Although Rumiko Takahashi, you don't normally have to read all of her work to kind of get it, so maybe I don't need any more. I don't know. And this is another title my sister bought, and we thought it was hers, and then we realized that it was mine. That is Bride of Deimos, art by Yuho Ashibe, story by Etsuko Ikeda. And I bought volume 2 and volume 4, and I have 1, 3, and 5 already. And the art is that kind of like, it's kind of mid-70s, you know, just that like really pretty curly twirly hair and pointy chins. It's really lovely, and I just really love that style. It makes me so happy. And I also, of course, am a fan of Comics 1, so, you know, good things on all front. So yeah, that was really exciting, and we had so much fun going, and we were both super giddy and felt like we were on vacation, and probably spent way too much, but, you know, sometimes you just can't help yourself, you know, especially when you're being stared right in the face with something that you just never get a chance to buy. Like, you always have a chance to buy new releases, but you don't have a chance to buy those out-of-print titles that nobody wants, nobody's talking about. And I was like, why does he have tables and tables of this? It was glorious. So that was my unexpected manga haul. If you've read any of these titles, I'd really like to know what you thought about them, especially since they aren't really popular on YouTube. So yeah, I'd love to hear if you had any thoughts on them. And I will see you in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.